What is up guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Noman and today's analysis video is going to be about the Euro 2020 game between Belgium and Portugal. So Belgium lined up in a 3-4-1-2 formation which mostly changed to 3-2-5 with the ball and 5-2-3 without the ball. While Portugal on the other hand lined up in a 4-3-3 formation, but they also changed their formation to a back 3 in the second half after the introduction of Danilo. So today's video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball is an app where you can find all the latest transfer news and stats about teams and players. So please don't forget to download the app. I'll put the link in the description. There wasn't too much drama in the first half of this game, as both the teams hardly created any offensive chances, and it was only a moment of brilliance from Thorgan Hazard that actually separated the two teams at halftime. So this is how the two teams were lined up on the ground whenever Belgium tried to build their play from the back. Portugal without the ball mostly had a 4-1-4-1 formation with João Palhinha covering the spaces in between the lines. Portugal did not try to press Belgium without the ball. Both Bernardo Silva and Diogo Jota dropped in the midfield as they tried to cut the passing lanes from the centre backs to the wing backs, with Renato Sanchez and João Moutinho covering Witsel and Tielemans. So here we can see Portugal's 4-1-4-1 formation without the ball, with both Bernardo Silva and Diogo Jota dropping in the midfield, with João Palhinha covering the spaces in between the lines. Portugal did not try to force any high press as both Jota and Bernardo Silva joined the midfield without the ball, and Cristiano Ronaldo was the only one given the job of putting pressure on the centre backs. Bernardo Silva and Jota were dropping in the midfield and they were trying to cut the passing lanes to the wing backs. But it actually did not take too long for Belgium to figure out a way to easily build their play from the back. João Moutinho and Renato Sanchez were tracking the runs of Witsel and Tielemans. So Belgium tried to use that marking to drag Moutinho and Sanchez out of their positions to open the centre passing lanes, with Eden Hazard and De Bruyne trying to isolate Palhinha in a 1v2 position in between the lines. Palhinha could only cover one of Hazard and De Bruyne, and thus one of the two players was always free to receive the ball from his centre backs. Renato Sanchez is covering Witsel, with Moutinho covering De Bruyne. Palhinha is again the one covering the spaces in between the lines. Palhinha checks his shoulder and he can see Eden Hazard dropping deep. So Palhinha steps out to cover Eden Hazard, and that leaves Tielemans totally free in between the lines to receive the ball from Witsel. Since Palhinha was getting outnumbered, so Diogo Jota steps in the midfield to help Palhinha, and that leaves Thomas Meunier totally free to receive the ball from Tielemans. Once again, Kevin De Bruyne and Witsel are forcing Sanchez and Moutinho out of their positions to open the centre passing lane for Alderweireld to pick Eden Hazard. Palhinha is once again left in a 1v2 position. Alderweireld to Eden Hazard, and Hazard's one-touch pass to Kevin De Bruyne, and with just one simple pass, the entire Portuguese midfield is taken out. Diogo Jota was once again forced to move narrow to help his midfield, and Thomas Meunier is again totally free to receive the ball. Again, Sanchez and João Moutinho are busy covering the double pivot of Belgium, and De Bruyne takes away Palhinha, and that leaves Eden Hazard in acres of space in between the lines. So by using the tight marking of Portugal, Belgium were able to build their play through the central channels. This deeper position of Eden Hazard was creating lots of issues for the Portuguese defense. If a defender decided to follow Eden Hazard's deeper position, then they would leave the space open in the defense. And if they decided not to follow Eden Hazard, then Eden Hazard was able to create an overload against Palhinha with the help of Kevin De Bruyne. Again, Eden Hazard drops deep to create that same 2v1 position against Palhinha, and this time Diogo Dalot leaves his line to cover Eden Hazard to help Palhinha, and as Dalot steps out, he leaves the space open in the defense, and Hazard immediately flicks the ball in the space for the run of Thorgan Hazard. So covering Eden Hazard was always an issue, as he was either able to create an overload against Palhinha or he was able to force the Portuguese defenders out of their line to create spaces in the defense. Belgium, on the other hand, also did not try to press Portugal aggressively in this game. They mostly went with positional pressing with Hazard and Lukaku, the two positional diagonals, looking to cut the passing lanes to the Portuguese fullbacks. So this is how Belgium were lined up whenever Portugal tried to build their play from the back. Tielemans and Witsel were covering Renato Sanchez and João Moutinho, with Kevin De Bruyne covering Palhinha. Eden Hazard and Romelu Lukaku were the two positional diagonals who were looking to cut the passing lanes to the Portuguese fullbacks, and thus there were no pressure applied on the two Portuguese centre-backs, and they were given time and space on the ball. But all of their nearby passing options were tightly blocked, and thus the two Portuguese centre-backs were often forced to play long passes to their fullbacks. Belgium also did not try to press Portugal, and they mostly went with the positional pressing. Witsel and Tielemans were covering Moutinho and Renato Sanchez, with Kevin De Bruyne covering Palhinha. Hazard and Lukaku were the two positional diagonals who were pressing the centre-backs, and at the same time they were also cutting the passing lanes to the fullbacks. As soon as Portugal picked a side to build their play, Belgium would move to that side to block all the nearby passing options, and these were the moments for Portugal to switch the play and catch Belgium. Portugal in the first half mostly tried to rely on Ronaldo's run to get them a goal. Diogo Jota would often try to drop deep to drag Alderweireld out of his line to open the gaps for Ronaldo's runs. Diogo Jota dropping deep on transition to force Alderweireld out of his position. Jota's one-touch pass to Moutinho, who plays a first-time pass to find Ronaldo in the space that Jota just created by forcing Alderweireld out of his line. Portugal looking to create a 2v2 position on transition by forcing Alderweireld out of his line. Again, Jota is forcing Alderweireld out of his line, and Ronaldo is once again ready to attack the space in the defense. Portugal needed goals, so in the second half, Portugal changed their formation to a back three, after introducing more and more attacking options. By shifting to a back three, Portugal were able to push their fullbacks high up the ground, who were now playing as the two wingbacks. And by introducing more attacking options, Portugal tried to crowd the Belgium box to receive crosses inside the box. Portugal now shifting to a back three, with Rafael Guerreiro and Diogo Dalot now playing as the two wingbacks, as Portugal tried to bombard the Belgium box with crosses. Portugal played a total of 22 crosses compared to Belgium's only 5. That just shows us how Portugal tried to heavily rely on Ronaldo and Andre Silva's aerial strength to get them an equalizer. Since Portugal were pushing their players high up the ground, so this is where Romelu Lukaku came into play for Belgium. As soon as Belgium won possession, they immediately tried to find Lukaku with a long pass from the back, with Eden Hazard and Dries Mertens playing close to Lukaku to win the second ball. As soon as Belgium won possession, they immediately tried to find Lukaku, who would win the first ball, with Hazard and Mertens playing close to him and winning the second ball. Again, winning possession and immediately looking to find Lukaku, who once again easily wins the first ball and lays it off to Mertens. Lukaku was able to win 100% of his aerial duels, and he was able to keep Belgium's offensive threat alive thanks to his excellent aerial and hold-up ability. There wasn't too much in the first half apart from that Thorgan Hazard goal, but the second half provided so much entertainment, with both teams having some very good goal-scoring chances. Belgium will now face Italy in the quarterfinals, and that will surely be an interesting game too. So who do you think is going to win that game? Comment below and let me know. Thank you so much guys for watching the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.